The situation in the energy market remains uncertain due to a possible EU embargo on Russian oil and gas. Investors are concerned about real energy shortages, which leads to a rally in oil prices. However, there are signs that Brussels will refuse to take such a measure. Against this background, the market has been standing still for a couple of days. Further developments will depend solely on the new package of sanctions, which is still under discussion. Under then, oil prices are likely to remain a little above $110 per barrel. From a technical point of view, Brent crude oil continues moving below the level of $115 per barrel, despite buyers striving to push the price up. This indicates a high selling pressure, holding back growth in the market. As long as the quote is below the control level of 115, sellers have a pretty good chance of a success. And in this case, the benchmark will see a pullback, followed by a sideways movement between the levels of 100 and 115. The dynamics of the yellow metal is similar to that of oil. The only difference is that its previous movement was downward rather than upward. Gold is being driven by the same factors. However, they have an adverse impact on the metal. The risk of energy shortages reduces the attractiveness of safe haven assets. In fact, they are becoming worthless, whereas basic commodities such as oil or grain are in a growing demand. Thus, it will be possible to talk about a recovery in the gold market only after the geopolitical situation stabilizes. In the meantime, the situation is uncertain. Gold is trying to settle above $1,800 per troy ounce. This indicates that the downtrend is still intact despite the asset's oversold status. If the price fixes below the $1,800 mark on the daily chart, the metal will extend losses. Until then, the quote is expected to be in a correction phase. The Russian currency seems to have stabilized in a range of 62.50 to 65.00 rubles per dollar. For almost a week, it has been trading within this channel. At the same time, the ruble is extremely overbought. Over a month and a half, the dollar has tumbled to almost 60 rubles from 130. Moreover, there were almost no pullbacks. Thus, the serious imbalance formed in the market limits the ruble's potential gains in value. The market needs at least a local correction. However, the point is that the auctions of Western countries contribute to the strengthening of the Russian currency. Much now depends on a sixth package of European Union sanctions against Russia. If it does not include a ban on Russian energy supplies, uncertainty will subside. This in turn may lead to a ruble correction. And that's all for now. We continue to learn developments on financial markets. Subscribe to our channel and follow news with us. See you soon.